So we are back with another episode of Let Me Be Frank. Now, when you think of great golfing rivalries, you think of Watson and Nicklaus, Mickelson and Woods, Rory, DeChambeau, but the greatest rivalry of all time, in the studio with me today, get Frank McAvennie and Bobby Bluebell. And I'm absolutely blown away by it. I've had to referee with you two golfers.
I know.
It's like
there's two people that don't like getting beat.
I know. I'm just surprised you've never actually, stuck a golf club where the sun don't shine when the two of you get going.
No, the best one I heard from him when he was in the bunker, and I says, "Can't move it." He says, "But it's all sand."
It's covered in sand.
Listen, we'll come on to the golf in a wee minute, but Bobby, all serious, is fantastic. Thanks for joining us. This is great. This is another one that we were ticking off our kind of wish list at the very start when we started all this. And so Bobby, everybody knows who he is. Musician, songwriter extraordinaire.
Oh yeah.
And celebrity Celtic fan, we'll come on to that too. And he's also a big unionist too, and he loves it.
Trade unionist.
Yeah.
So how's life all right? Aye?
Yeah, really good. It's been an interesting couple of years. Frank knows what's been going on, man. But it's been a blessing in disguise, to be really honest. I haven't played much golf, as Frank knows, but in return, I spent a lot more time doing music with obviously the Bluebells and Graham Skinner and things, and that's actually great focus because my friend Johnny McElhone in Texas, he used to play golf with us all the time, and then I remember one day he just said, "I'm never playing again." He got a hole in one at Loch Lomond. He said, "That's me, I'm stopping. I'm going to concentrate on Texas." And boom.
Aye.
Now they're playing the Hydro.
Oh, fantastic.
They won all those awards. They absolutely stole Glastonbury last year, So inspirational in that sense to me that, concentrating on the most important things. Golf does take up a lot of time,
Particularly for Frank.
You wrote a lot of Texas songs, didn't you?
A lot with them, lucky. Me and Johnny
come out.
Yeah, well, the great thing is they played a lot of those songs.
Yeah, great.
On the two, and I mean, it was great for working with Texas. I hopefully I'll work with them again. But me and Johnny go back a long way, back to Autumn Images days and the Bluebells. When I first started the band, it was really his brother that got me into music. Jerry. So we don't have to work together. We're friends.
Yes.
But when we work together, it works really well. Charlene, of course, is involved in that as well.
And before I forget, you've got a gig at the Barrowlands fairly soon, aye? Tell us about that.
That's another bonus because we've never played the Barrowlands before. We've had awards there, but we were at the stage in the career of the Bluebells where we thought, well, we've kind of like we haven't got any pull anymore. We're kind of like we've had a few hits, but in the last few months we've been inundated with gigs, big festivals. There seems to be a sort of like a big wave of love for us again out of the blue, and there's really lots of musicians that we really respect have been quoting us and we're doing Celtic Connections, which we've never been asked to do before. Never asked to play the Barrowlands before, so it means a lot to us, and we're really excited about it.
Let's go on the most important thing. We're sitting here the morning after what might well be one of Celtic's greatest European performances in, I reckon, 20 years.
Yes.
I mean, we're having a debate with my mates last night on the way back from the game, and obviously more recently than, I was going to say Lyon 2004, which 2-0, that was Sutton and Larson. The Barcelona game in 2012, but the difference was the Barcelona game in 2012, it was backs against the wall. Whereas last night, playing against second in the Bundesliga, it played them off the park.
Can I quote another one I always thought was when they beat Ajax, Martin Neal was the manager, and Chris Sutton and all that, and we destroyed Ajax in Ajax.
Oh, of course.
And I remember thinking at the time, what am I watching here? Because it was like an astonishing game.
There has been some great ones. I mean, Liverpool, Blackburn beating him, and
yes,
it's been great. Right. But last night, I'll tell you what, last night I've never been so proud of the boys. It was just everything.
Who do you think who was the main performer?
For me, Hatate. I thought he was outstanding. His coolness was seen when he megged the boy.
It was a dangerous position, by the way.
Well, that's what I thought.
If it doesn't come off, and
that's what makes you different for the. That's the great to the good players. You take chances like that.
The third goal, when McGregor's got the ball and goes back towards his own goal, remember? Runs back, you're thinking this is going to be a disaster. Keeps his head, turns out, and then what, a minute later we're scoring a goal at the other end.
aye.
And it was fantastic.
The boy was. I posted something. The boy was the blonde boy that was playing Candy. I can't remember. Was it Canby or something like that?
Yeah.
Campbell, I think it was, for
Campbell, yeah.
for Leipzig, aye.
He says that they tried everything last night
That's
to
right.
stop me. He said, but high pressed. He said, but they just kept playing it out. And I thought, that's players accepting that they just were a bit. They were a better
He
team.
said they couldn't run anymore.
Couldn't run anymore in the
They'd run
second
the
half.
whole
Well, that
game.
was interesting because there was a period in the first half. They went 1-0 up, and they had Celtic pinned back. And I was sitting with my brother, and we were both making the point that this could get bad because if they got another one, then they were looking really good at that point. And then
And that save
aye, that's
kept us in the game.
Yeah, completely. But then so Kuhn has that shot come cross. Still not sure whether he meant it or not. But
He meant it. You could watch his head. He's looking at the goal the whole time.
Meant it. Well, listen, he's German. He's going to say.
I think he did.
The look he gave the commentator and said, "Did you mean? Of course, I meant it."
Yeah.
I was like, I wouldn't have
The funniest one was when Maida missed the ball coming across, because if he'd hit it, that guy was blocking it. So it was like a dummy.
Yeah.
I know. Imagine asking him, did you dummy that?
I know.
aye, there was a couple
Couple of chances we had.
Aye.
See the one Maida scooped over the bar. I mean, what a pass that was.
The thing about Maida is that, so there was a couple of classic Maida moments. That one he scooped over the bar. Then there was the one when we broke. There was a fantastic ball down the wing, and of course he overcrossed it.
I know.
And he does that quite a lot.
Yes, a lot.
I think if Maida had really good composure, he wouldn't be playing in Scotland. That's the kind of.
Well, we're top.
Yeah.
Listen, but I think you're looking at him and I think he's so happy playing there. I don't think they're going. See, people think they're going to England. You make more money, but do you get? It's not. But the Champions League nights are big.
Aye.
They're special. It was the European Cup when I played, but they were still special.
And their kids are really happy here as well.
I know.
So,
It looks like so. I'm delighted for Brendan because he came back. He's getting a lot of stick. I thought he's one of the best coaches in the world, and he's proven it. And I wanted Celtic to get back to the Lennon, Strachan, and all that, get to the group stages where it's not anymore. But you know what I mean. I wanted to do that. I didn't want to win the cup and all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go that far, but just to make a stamp. Make an impression in Europe.
Get
Brendan's
past
done that.
Christmas.
Listen, the whole
done
game's
that.
against Bruges and Young Boys of Bern.
Yeah.
And, never mind the playoffs, but the top 8, possibility.
Yes. Yeah.
But anyway, so
just get through it. I'll be happy. That's a song.
I did. I sang, woke up this morning. I'm thinking.
I get myself a gun.
Aye, Sopranos, that's what it was. Woke up this morning, immediately thinking, oh, great result. And then I put my phone on and I looked at the news headlines about the US presidential result. You happy, man? Right.
Listen, he's box office, isn't he? He's a cracker. But
we did say beforehand we were going to get you two onto politics,
No.
but the day after Trump getting back in the White House,
I just think is that the best tour that America's got to offer?
It's absolutely true. It's a shocking choice. Shocking.
I thought out of the two of them, I think most of them just went for Trump because he wants to. Listen, I wish somebody would.
You're about to say he wants to make America great again.
I'd love somebody have the passion for the UK than what he's got for America.
Aye.
I'd just like to see somebody have that passion for the UK. Whether he does it or not, I don't know. But anyway, he's a good golf course, I must say that. But
Well, actually, that's a point, right? Because it's always it's very difficult when you're discussing Donald Trump. When you make a point, if you're a golf fan, right, and you talk about Turnberry, for example, now a lot of people won't
changing it now, isn't he?
Aye, well, a lot.
Changing it.
He's already changed it. There's some more changes coming.
There's more changes coming, 7th and 8th or something. He's changing, so.
A lot of golf fans won't
First
play
par
it.
3 in it.
Aye, whatever it is.
A lot of golf fans won't play it because it's Trump. But
They're wrong, but because it was there before he came, it'll be there after he's gone, So I think it's like, see, you get this in music, right? Morrissey, right? Now, no matter what you say about Morrissey and his politics, they're fantastic songs.
Yeah.
So am I supposed to not like those songs anymore because he's turned out to be a complete prick? No, of course not. You can't judge it that way.
I was playing John Hartson's golf day for his foundation, which he's done a great job. But we were playing at Turnberry, and Trump was coming in, and we were playing at Robert De Bruce, and he was coming in to play the Ailsa, and he flew in it. And we seen it, and I seen the guy, the general manager, Ralph, at the time. He's over in Dubai now, but I spoke to him, I says, they were all standing at the stairs applauding him coming in. And I'm saying, was it orders from the man himself? He says, no. He says, he paid everybody all through COVID
That's right.
He paid everyone's wages.
I love him.
Paid the
Caddies, he got the caddies work.
everything.
Yeah.
Gave them job, but he paid their wages.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you don't hear that. You know, the
No, it's,
media you don't hear that about him.
Do you ever hear the story about this is before he became president, and he hadn't actually bought Turnberry at this point, but he comes to visit the place for the first time, and they were all kind of warned about his habits and kind of how he goes about his business. And I think the manager went to bed, kept his shirt and tie on and his jacket because he was fully expecting the phone to ring in his room, and sure enough, 2 a.m, Mr. Trump wants to see you through in reception, you know, and he said, gets up, water in the face, runs through, and by this point Trump's already left and he's down in the kind of walking in the gardens.
was he naked?
No, he hadn't, he was naked. And he turned around and saw the guy and he said, oh, you're just like me, you don't sleep either, you know. So, but he basically said, right, this is what I do, I want that changed, I want that changed, I want that moved, I want this out there, I want that in there. And he said, that's fine, sir, we'll do it first thing in the morning. He said, no, let's do it. Apparently, Trump had like one end of the tea, you know, and they're all, and he was like,
superb. Yeah. I seen him, I didn't get a chance to get a photo of him, but I seen him, remember, and I put it out, he was pointing at me, he wasn't pointing at me, and I put it out, I said, who's this guy asking him, how'd you miss that 2-foot putt?
Your ball's in the rough over there.
I seen his boy and he says, you should have tagged him in it. I said, I thought he was banned. He says, no, he's back on it. There you go.
No, it comes to celebrity golf stories, Bobby, you've got an absolute belter.
Oh, well, I've told this story so many times. I've embellished it beautifully.
Fantastic. Listen, by the way, don't let the facts say we have a good story.
I know.
No, in fact, we insist on that.
Journalist.
Well, I'll just tell you
Don't let
the
truth.
facts. I was working a lot with Dave Stewart in America, right? So every now and then I would fly over to LA to work with him, right? You know, and one day I arrived there off the plane, no luggage, completely jet lagged because I had my stuff in his house anyway, right? You know, and he goes, Bob, you like golf, don't you? I goes, yeah. And he goes, like, well, don't bother getting changed. I've got you a game of golf. Right, so I'm just straight off the plane, get in the car, takes me to his Bel Air Golf Club, right, you know, right, which I've never been before, never been in, right, hired the golf clubs, the gear and everything, so I'm there like a complete fanny and all this brand new golf gear, man, right, and I'm going to have to name drop you, sorry, right, and I'd already played golf with Dennis Hopper, right, and he was one of the guys there, right, you know, so that was fine. I goes, who we play with? And he goes, play with that guy over there, right, and plays this kind of like big black guy, I'm sorry to say, I mean, but that's a description, you know, generic description. And he points up to this other guy, and I'm thinking, that's Jack Nicholson, do you know what I mean, right, you know, right, and he goes, yeah, we're playing with Jack, and I'm going, oh, fuck, great. So this is what they do in America, right, I don't know how to do it anymore, but it's a bit like St Andrews. They say, on the tee from Scotland, you know, right, you know, whatever, they were all doing this, right, that's what all the Americans, you know, like, and you wind you up, you know, because you must be great at golf, you're Scottish. If only they knew, right, there's 1% of Scottish people are good at golf. Do you mean, right, you know, right?
Yeah.
So I take the club back, right, and I swing, I missed the ball completely, but as I'm coming back down this way, I hit the ball with the back of the club, and it goes back that way, right, you know, right? No one says a word, right? So they go breakfast ball, and you go, you know, to hit another shot, right? So Dennis goes that, and I said, so I had another shot, and it wasn't great either, right? So I'm walking up the fairway, right, and I'm thinking I better say hello, to
Jack Nicholson,
right? And he goes, yeah, he says, interesting. He says, let me give you some advice, young man. You know, at that point I was younger than him. He goes, never name drop in LA. right. So as soon as I came back, since I went anywhere, I goes, Jack Nicholson once told me, never name drop. Right.
Brilliant.
And to this day, right, these are things you've got to watch for, because it's like, there's another story that goes around about me and Paul McCartney in the papers, right? It's true, right? But we're not in any way friends. I just went to a party with a carry-out, you know, 6 cans of Scotch, right, and a quarter bottle of vodka, right? And he did say to everybody, look, the only person that can be bothered bringing drink is a fucking Scottish guy. Right?
Paul McCartney said that to you.
The thing is,
but you see, to me, that's no name dropping. That's just a tremendous story.
But these become the stories that end up in the Daily Record, right? And then folk say to you, oh, you're big pals Paul McCartney. No, I'm not.
I can say the same.
But so you're not friends with, you know, we meet people all the time. You're the same. In the business, right? You know, like this Quincy Jones died there, right? I've been dinner with him. Do you mean?
Yeah.
But so have a million other people.
sure.
We remember
Of course.
Quincy Jones is, but they don't. They're never going to turn around and go, tell Bobby, tell Bobby I miss him. Right?
No.
You know what I mean?
I met Jack. I
There you
met
go,
Jack myself. See, I spent a wee bit of time with Jack in Stringfellas.
Yeah. Did you?
It's a wee bit different for on a golf course.
Well, I can imagine.
Peter shouted me over and he said, I want to introduce you to somebody. And there, man, I was like, he was the biggest star in the world at the time. And that was like, wow.
But so were you, but.
And he done you're a soccer player, so Peter must have been talking about me. And he done his girl sitting there, and I'm talking to him, and I asked him a question. You know, and as you do. I said, can I ask you a question? Yeah. And he was expecting something about juicy fruit or something like that. One for the cookies, I could see her.
Yeah.
And I says, I heard a wee whisper that you bought an identical house across the road in this cul-de-sac. Identical house for your wife, Angelica Houston. Is that correct? He says, yeah.
Wow.
And I said, my question is, how the fuck did you get away with that? He busted out laughing. He says, I love her. He said, but I couldn't live with her. Identical house he built across there.
Fantastic, man.
So there's no problem.
Can you imagine being those guys, but going around the world, right, you know, and every person in the world remembers who you are when they met you, you know.
Brilliant.
But, I mean, it's not name dropping though, right? So,
But it is
you're
now.
on, I know, but so you're on a podcast with us,
Yeah.
and I'm going to ask you, like, who's the most famous person you've ever performed alongside, right? So that's a question. That's not you just dropping it in the conversation.
But we meet, I mean, for me it would be like obviously Paul McCartney, you know, George Harrison, Ringo.
Yeah.
But really, if you look, I've really thought about it, I would say Little Richard, because you wouldn't expect to meet him.
No.
And we all met him as a band. And he kept saying things like, you remind me of the Beatles. Do you mean that, you know? And he said, you can touch me. And we were all touched. He goes, no, don't touch me there. There's better places to touch me. You know? But he was joking. Do you know what I mean? It's like, you know, like, it's...
I know.
But
people would get offended
it's
nowadays.
Great, yeah, it's great. And the thing is, we're doing, I think it was the tube we were doing, and he was a guest on it. So it's the ones that you don't expect, like, for instance, like playing golf with them and all. I mean, for instance, that golf game, I can't remember anything else about it except that.
Like,
you know, and we do that. We play. Frank was just saying, we play a lot of pro golf, a lot of celebrity golf. So you're meeting people all the time, but you're kind of concentrating on the golf if you get my drift. They never just concentrate on getting to bed.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
People go out. We want to win.
Yeah.
And so you take it serious.
That's a bad habit I've got. So I could be
Never
invited.
win.
No, have you been yet? Have you been?
Here we
yet?
go. I think the last time, yes, I did.
If I was invited to play the greatest golf course in the world, I'd probably be more obsessed with what my score was than actually drinking it all in. Do you know what I mean? I'd be like, what par is this?
But what happened is we've been lucky enough to play Muirfield a couple of times in the last year, and it's quite an experience, Muirfield. I mean,
Did you play it? Did you have to do the foursomes thing? Or did
yeah.
It's
And the Kimmel and the whole thing, and the host was fantastic, and the experience is actually fantastic off the golf course. You know, the food and the whole.
Do you do that thing like a 2 hour in the morning, 2 hour lunch, 2 hour in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Aye.
We started off in the morning with Bloody Marys with
it's
with
good way to
brandy in
start.
it. I mean, like, you know,
It's a good way to start. Bloody Mary in the morning if you've had a heavy night.
The rest of the days are blur then. I mean, you know.
And they do. I mean, they race around because of the foursomes format as well, and the two folk go up the fairway and the other ones hit. They rattle around at some pace, but it's good. Yeah. So you guys get to play some decent courses, don't you?
Yeah.
The best.
Have you paid for any golf lately?
No.
That's
It's funny.
Anyway, anyone that wants me on.
And vice versa.
Aye. Let me be frank. Golf outings going to be happening soon. We're just looking at a venue.
I played down. I'm an ambassador now
Aye, you're a what?
for Mar Hall. There you go.
Oh, that's right. It's up there not long ago as well. Man.
So they're putting a lot of money into it now.
Aye, I've never played Marhol. Oh no, I have. I played it with you
nice.
and you actually.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And our mutual pal who took us was
Mark Larkin.
Mark.
He done it to me. He said when it was during COVID, I says I need somewhere. My pals are coming up from Newcastle.
Aye.
And they'll come up
That's
twice
right,
a year and we all play.
Aye.
And he says no problem. Coming to Bag and Nails, I'll put places by for you. I forgot. Rangers were playing that night. Right, so I went in and the screens are down and it's blue everywhere. And I'm looking at these big screens and I'm thinking, it was in Europe, they were playing in Europe, and I'm going, oh my God, so the boys have just walked in and there's a big sign on this big sofa thing. This is for Frank McAvenny in the Behorny Rangers. Right.
Fantastic.
When he walks in, please vacate. Right. So I'm getting on that. Alec Gray was in. His daughter, he was watching the game and he's going, I fucking knew it. He says, there's only one of you. So, but it was good because he played with Sunderland and all the boys, a lot of the boys were from Sunderland, so it was a good laugh.
I didn't realise Matt was a big Rangers fan.
It wasn't, it was just one of I know. Yeah.
So a few things I want to talk about, talk to you about. Your early life in developing a love for Celtic as well. So I'm fascinated to hear a bit about that. And then obviously I want to talk about breaking into the kind of music industry and also your connections with Bananarama and all that stuff. But if we go down the road first of your childhood in Glasgow and becoming a Celtic supporter, I understand there was a possibility you might even support Rangers.
No, I was born in Gumlin Road, just out there, actually, just right down near the police station, you know. There's a blue plaque up in the wall where I was born, man. Is it? Yeah, it's lovely. It says no parking.
I done me up like camera.
But my dad was worked the shipyards hard, and it was a Protestant family, and then he married my mum, who was an Italian Catholic. Yeah. So we went to a Catholic school, but my first ever game was I never forget it actually because my dad ingrained it in my head. But it was Rangers versus Hamilton in the Scottish Cup, and they won 3-0, right. And it was the third round, and I wouldn't leave the ground because they were bringing the cup out, right? And then you try to explain to me, no, this is just the first round, you know. But they won the cup, man. You know? Then when I was I went to Lourdes, and eventually my dad said, you should go to Parkhead with your pals. Aye. You know, it says you're not going to get anywhere.
Oh, sorry, you're talking about Lourdes' school?
Yeah, you're not going to get anywhere.
Yes.
Going to see Rangers, we go to Lourdes, you're going to get battered, you know. Aye. And so I did, and he in fact took me to my first game at Park. He liked me outside right enough. But no, my dad was great, he didn't care about it at all, you know. And then obviously you become a Celtic, once you go for it, you really go for it, man, you know.
Yeah. Again, I read another story about, did you go to a game later on in later life with your dad?
Yeah.
You were a celebrity at this point?
Well, it was our friend was the managing director of Rangers.
Is that Martin Bain?
Martin Bain, yeah, and I think he's in India now. Aye. And he's a lovely guy, Martin. He used to be a model and all that, and he worked in the Warehouse Cafe. And one day he phoned me up and said, would you and your dad like to come to Ibrox as my guest, because I know your dad's a Rangers fan and Willie Woodburn's going to be there. And I told him Willie Woodburn was my dad's favourite player because he got banned signed eyes. But I said, he's the hardest guy in this country. He'll never play football again. Right. Proud of him, right, you know. So I said, so me and my dad get dressed up, Crombie coats on. I tried to look as Masonic as possible. You know, right. Dark glasses on. And we're lovely. It was Walter Smith and Ian Durant. We were take around the boardroom and everything, and all the trophy room. I saw the bike, you know, right? And my dad was loving it, you know. We got up into the director's box and they were playing Aberdeen. They get beat 3-0 or something like that, right? You know, and at half time, that bugger Martin Bain, right, overcomes the tannoy. He goes, as part of the anti-bigotry campaign, Glasgow Rangers would like to welcome well-known Celtic supporter Bobby Bluebell to the director's box, right? And of course, immediately, fucking right in front of us, Bobby Bluebell, you're a wanker, right? And my dad's shouting down at him, he's not a wanker!
I'm the only one to call him that.
And so he goes, quick, get your coat, we're leaving. Because the coats are downstairs. So we run out of the director's box, you know. I think they were singing Who's the Fenian in the box by this point, man, right? We go downstairs back to the boardroom. My dad goes to the girl, bring us our coats and the bill. And she goes, Mr. Hodgins, there's no bill. You're the guest of the club. He goes, bring us 2 whiskies. And we go back upstairs and watch the second half, man. Right? And at the end of the game, Walter Smith goes to my dad, you're probably better waiting 40-45 minutes before you leave.
Let the place clear a wee bit.
You can go, but your son has to wait.
But I mean, and you know, I'm joking, but I've got Skin from Spain, all our friends, Dave Ross, they're all Rangers, man. You've got to take it all on board. I mean, you know, I mean, it's like there's a lot of mixed families and a lot of Celtic's most famous players and managers are Protestants, and you know, I don't think I don't remember it being like this, and I know it was like this. And I don't
I think it was
remember
as
it.
bad. I don't think it was as bad as this, was it?
I don't think so. I think it all.
Could social media not have something to do with that? Maybe, I don't know.
I don't know. I think that the clubs can become caricatures of themselves. Do you know what I mean? You know, like singing Rule Britannia and all that sort of stuff. Like, I mean, I can imagine that and them doing that back then. I mean, people didn't hardly work. When we got football, they only wore scarves. They didn't wear all the strips, and they had suits on, and they had, you know, I kind of liked it.
Yeah.
You know,
I've not seen any Celtic or Rangers supporters wearing a half and half.
no, exactly. I know. It's
It's the only game you never get a half and half.
Nah, before suggest that no, we're not getting one.
No, okay, all right.
The football team should be rivals.
Take off.
I mean, I'm half Italian, and in Italy, you think it's bad here. It's ferocious over there.
Yeah,
I mean, and you've seen it. You've played, you know, in Turkey and Spain.
Yeah.
And even like in Denmark, they're all fighting, and you know.
I got a wee taste of it on Monday night at the Fives at Trim Chapel. Well, it was because it was the night before bonfire nights. The fireworks are going off all around the pitch. I thought I was playing in Istanbul. It was fantastic.
I think you'd have fireworks in golf.
You're waving everywhere.
Listen, we can't have you on without talking about Young at Heart, right? So, what's your strangest, weirdest Young at Heart story?
Well, I don't have any weird ones about it. I mean,
I'm thinking about like the most obscure place you heard it or something like that, you know.
In an Italian supermarket is probably, probably the weirdest one, man. But
Is that right?
my favourite Young at Heart thing was obviously doing Still Game, you know, at the because obviously Still Game is one of my favourite programmes in the whole world, you know what I mean? And I mean, I watched that with tears come down my face because it's so accurate. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then when they asked us to do the wedding, you know, and you know, it's a great story. It's the second last episode, and us to be the band at the wedding and sing that song, because of all the songs in the world that fit that program, Young at Heart, because that's what they, that's what they're selling. And the fact is, it's funny as we get older and we become more like the Still Game characters. You know, everyone's basically 16. We still. Our bodies
on the
lie, but our heads are all we're all fannies still.
I'm still 21.
Fannies, you know, and they've all got the same things. They don't really mature. You know what I mean? You know, so that was a great privilege to do that. You know,
and the song itself. It was recorded by Bananarama, wasn't it? Did you write it for them originally?
Yeah, I was going to.
Is she share writing credits?
Yeah, we were living together in Holborn, and we were watching Frank Sinatra, Young at Heart, the movie was called, and I was telling that's my dad's favourite film, you know, right? And it was, and then she was telling me her dad, and then we just started writing the song, you know, and calling it Young at Heart, obviously about our parents, which is how come? Could be both, you know. See, the trouble is when you're young, right, at 17, 16, you want to leave home, don't you? And your parents annoy the fuck out of you, do you know what I mean? Right? But as you get older and you become a parent, you realise all the things that your parents did for you. So I was in London, she was in London, her mum and dad had moved to London, but she's from Ireland, Dublin, or Dunleary. And I was kind of missing home. So you start to think, well, you know, it took me to get away, but all of a sudden, you know.
And that comes through in the lyrics loud and clear.
And now it does. It's funny, at the time when #1 in the charts, all we got was the most annoying song in the world. Do you know what I mean? You know, and I always felt dead sad about that, you know. But now people begin to get the fact that that it isn't just gibberish. I mean, you know. And then so Bananarama, we were doing it live, the Bluebells. We were doing it in a kind of Northern Soul way, because we were into Northern Soul. I mean, her cousin was a Northern Soul DJ in London, so we would go to the house club a lot, and it was kind of like that. So they did a version with Jolly and Swain, which I didn't really like at all. And to be fair, the girls either. No. And then we were on the same record label. And then one day, the managing director Roger Ames said, "You should really do that song because it's a great song, but don't do it like that." Yeah. So we did it in a kind of like that kind of Bob Dylan, you know, I Want You kind of jigging kind of thing, man. And as soon as we did it, we knew it was going to be a hit, man. You know.
But I mean, it was a hit initially, and then of course when that Volkswagen advert came along. Yeah. It kind of went a bit nuts at that point.
Yeah, that was #1
for
4 or 5 weeks. Yeah. It was
all over the world, was it? Was it all over?
Well, mostly in Europe. You know, Britain obviously, and then France, Spain, Germany. We ended up getting, you know, it made a lot of money for the record company, and it got us back, and we just took the piss out of Top Pops in the nicest possible
Yeah.
way, and they were totally up for it, you know,
Sure.
because Top Pops is a much missed programme. I think. Imagine football had no European Cup. Well, that was the European Cup for musicians. If you got on Top
and you couldn't
Pops,
sing.
yeah, and it got number one in the charts, you would be
Yeah.
everyone in your street, everyone in the town saw you on TV at the same time. Now that's kind of gone, you know.
No.
It's fascinating that we had Chesney Hawkes on a few weeks ago, and we were discussing the one and only.
Yeah, great song.
Aye, but I was trying to kind of get my head around how the breakdown of the payments of money from a song. You know, obviously the record label gets probably they get the lion's share.
No,
No.
Songwriting is probably the most generous copyright in the world. It's ridiculous. You could write a song in a couple of minutes, right? I mean, I'll give you an example, right? If you wrote a book, right, you're going to get 4 or 5% of the book sales. You know, right? we're getting 80%. Do you mean, right? And if the song in a book, you buy the book once. That's it, right? But every time it's played on the radio, every time it's recorded,
get
every
it
time it's
for
TV, you get money, you know, forever. You know, right?
That pension.
75 years, yeah. So that really accumulates in an astonishing way, which is why you get people like U2 and Bob Dylan selling their catalogues for £300 million because they're going to make that money back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how ridiculous. I'm probably going to make about 100 million. I'm only kidding. You know,
This week. This week.
But the thing is, but and then if you're a painter, say my friend Jim Lammy, a great artist, right? If he painted a picture, right, did an artwork and sold it for £5,000, and 10 years later it went for £5 million, he's still got the £5,000. Do you know what I mean? Whereas if my song was done by somebody else, or I sold the publisher, I still get.
Many songs do you think you've written? I mean,
I've wrote a lot. I mean, but I only count. See,
the ones that
well, this is what you do when you get into the business. You don't count the songs you've written. You count how many are out.
how many you're getting paid for.
Yeah, exactly. The thing is, I tell people all the time. I meet people all the time. They go, "I've written 200 songs." I go, "So where can I get them?" "Oh, they're in."
Matic.
Do you know what I mean? Right, you know.
Can I buy that one off you?
I mean, so it's. I mean, it's like if you ask Frank how many games he's played, he doesn't count the games he played in Bellston Park or Benburn. Do you know what I mean? Or like, or the training games. You count the games.
Yes.
That you got paid. I mean, you got your.
Is there
glory,
any ones that would surprise people if we asked about your writing credits and maybe pop up in a song that people wouldn't have thought of?
Well, I've done people like Bewitched and She in the Corners and I'm trying to think who else. I mean, like obviously Texas and things. I mean, Ian McCulloch. I mean, there's. I'd have to go through.
Yeah, of course. It's not fair putting you on the spot. But,
yeah. I mean, but the thing is, after the Bluebells, when you mentioned before, after Top of the Pops, so Siobhan was still married to Dave Stewart, so Dave Stewart took me on as a songwriter, as a publisher, right? And then they were kind of splitting up. So I was going round the world with him. He's my publisher, and he was putting me into situations where I'm writing songs with tons of people. Do you mean, right? You know, and going all over the world doing that. And then I think that happened to Justin Curry and Ricky Ross too. We were all in Warner Brothers, so we weren't in bands anymore. You know, right? And so, but you became sort of like songwriters. I mean, I'm pretty sure Ricky wrote for, other bands, and sort of Justin, So you become like a sort of like songwriter. People come to you and say, "Can you come work with us and we'll write some songs with us?" I mean, but then that's a great thing, But in the end, you kind of like, it's embarrassing. You come in a place like this, shut the doors, like in the studio, and they'd be sitting there. And I remember going to meet Marty Pella once and Chris Difford, I think, from the Squeeze. You're going to see soon.
I'm going to see Squeeze
down at his studio down in his place down in England, and it was dead dark like this, like, and it's kind of like one of those kind of like pointy roof English mill towns on it. And I walk in, it was dead dark, and it's dead late at night, and they're sitting there, right, and Marty's like, he goes, right, if you're going to break bread with us, you got to sing us a song now and show us what you're worth. It's going, can I go to the toilet first? I mean, it's dead hard, but because like you do trials for football, right? That's what it's like, and it's dead hard to make up a song on the spot, but you've got to do it.
Yeah,
and what you can't do is bring them something you've done before, because you can smell that.
They can smell
you. This is something you. That's not a good song.
Yeah, here's one we made earlier.
You've done,
You've done lots and lots. I've never asked this question, but what is your favourite? Have you got a favourite out of the ones even if it wasn't that, have you got a favourite out of the ones that you'd what?
I mean, Gas is not long ago, and it's the one that makes the most money.
I know, but
right?
I
don't mean that in a daft
I know,
way.
but have you not got one that you think, I wish that was bigger hit, but that's my favourite?
Of course, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, that would be, there's a few, but thing is,
you're about money.
No, I don't mean it that way. I mean, that's what it's called popular music. It's pop music.
I know.
Is that what it stands for?
Didn't realise what that was for, did you?
How much better can you get than someone putting their money down to buy your song, man? You know, I mean, and that's the highest compliment you can get. I mean, you're all going to see, you're talking about going to see Squeeze, right? Because they're great songwriters.
Yeah,
do you mean, right? You know?
Yeah, great. Yeah, they always tell great stories in their songs.
Yeah.
But Kath is probably, I would have that in my top 10 songs of all time.
That one we really enjoyed doing. We're working with Elvis Costello, and he was ill that day. I think his food. It's dead funny, Elvis. He's the first guy I ever met that was a vegetarian, right? I'm a vegetarian, right? And he had this thing called tofu, right? And for years and years, I thought it was called toffee, right? And I used to tell everybody in the press, I don't know how Elvis stays so hit. He just eats toffee all the time, right? You know, right? And we went on tour with him, and he goes, why are you fucking telling everybody I eat toffee all the time? You know, right? I was thinking, what is it then? You know, it's white, it's cubes. I thought white toffee. We're so naive as the Bluebells, you would not believe, man. I mean, you've no idea how naive we were, man. Like, we don't know what drugs were, what restaurants were, how you got on a plane. I mean, like, we didn't, everything, people looked like we were like, it's exactly the same, yeah, you know. So, but these are the, Kath, he was ill that day, and then we were all set up to record, so we did Kath, and I was trying to make it as close to Maggie May as I could do, but not the tune, getting the mandolin in. I kind of love Maggie May, and it was Kathy Kay from my head as a favourite. I was thinking called Kathy Kay, and then we just ended up doing calling it Kath, and then we played it with the company. They just loved it, you know, and we were dead chuffed that they loved it, you know, and it was a real breakthrough for us, you know.
Fantastic. Brilliant.
Time moving on as well, but we're going to do something in a wee minute, and then after that, I want to hear your favourite, my favourite Bobby story of all time involving Robert De Niro, right? But first, we've got a wee thing that we do called Frank's for the Memories, right? When I ask the guests questions about Frank's career.
Fantastic.
Right? And what I'm going to do as well is I've been keeping a note of how everyone's doing, and we'll have a league table. We'll at the end of the year.
Oh, who was the last one? Who was the last one? It was got three.
Jimmy Nicol, I think.
Jimmy got three, didn't he?
He did all right.
He did all right.
Right, so you golf with Frank plenty of times, right? Who sponsors Frank's golf clubs? What maker clubs does Frank use?
Wilson.
Oh, listen, I didn't even have a chance to give you a multiple choice.
Yeah.
That's worth a point and a half.
He took me to the factory.
Thanks, Wilson. Thank you. Clubs are great.
Yeah. He promised me a get me set.
I know.
What football boots did Frank wear? Was it Puma or Adidas?
Oh, that's a very good question, actually. I'm trying to picture it in my head now. We'll go for Puma.
Well done.
Yeah, I was sponsored for years with him. Yeah.
Frank's first gig that he went to was either Rod Stewart or U2.
Oh, I'd have to go for Rod Stewart.
My God,
Bobby, you're on fire.
Brilliant.
You know what it was? Ibrox as well.
Oh, wow.
Ibrox.
Who was supporting them?
Baby Jane tour.
Oh, wow.
I was at St Mirren, yeah. It was funny, I've got to tell you something. Me Mo was there, and he just joined. He was at Thistle and all that, right? And he's come walking in, and the crowds erupted and was waving and all that, right?
Fantastic.
And he didn't realise Kenny had walked in. He's waving. And Kenny's going, what are you doing?
Fantastic. He stole your whole look, by the way.
I know.
Right, back to Frank.
Right, sorry.
As much as I love hearing stories about Mo Johnson at Ibrox.
All right.
So when Frank scored in the famous Centenary Cup final in 1988...
I was at that game.
Yeah, me too. He scored 2.
Yep.
Who was the Dundee United goalkeeper? Was it Billy Thompson or Hamish McAlpine?
Hamish McAlpine.
No, was it? Billy Thompson.
Head
Clean
sweep.
sweep. Oh, he
I was
nearly...
going to say Billy Thompson, but then I thought, no, it was McAlpine. I thought, no.
Well, actually, I had in my head that it was McAlpine as well.
Tomo took over, didn't he? Because I played with Tomo at St Mirren.
And then here's one, this might test your knowledge of Glasgow geography as well, right? So, where did Frank go to school? Was it St Augustine's or St Thomas Aquinas?
Oh, I'll have to go for St Thomas Aquinas.
No.
Oh, no. St Augustine. Well, that's because it's Drumchapel.
Oh, I'm from Malton.
Oh, sorry,
That's Augustins.
Can I change that one back? Can we play at rugby? that was the hardest game I ever played, rugby. Look, can you imagine two Ned teams playing rugby together, man, you know, like, you know.
Well, listen, there's a bonus question, right? What and no one in the world knows the answer to this, so if you can get this, I'll be really impressed. What is Frank's actual handicap at golf?
It changes from day to day, man. I'll tell you the three Frank excuses, right? I've not played for a while, right? I'm tired, my ankle's sore, and it's wet. 4.
Depends.
There's too much grass in the course.
It depends. It's better than the sand on the ball when it's in a bunker.
Right, so time's moving on again. Yes. We're trying to keep the episodes nice and tight. Before I forget, right, and we keep forgetting, and you need to pull me up for this, for not telling the many thousands of viewers what to do.
Don't forget to press the subscribe.
Hit the button below. Follow us. We've got some really, really good numbers on TikTok. Numbers are great. The clips are flying, and same with Instagram.
Yep.
And also, so just follow us, and we're out on Facebook as well.
Yeah.
TikTok, all the usual stuff. Hit subscribe button, and we'll keep getting tremendous guests like this man on. Before we finish up, you told us a story once about when you're living with Bananarama.
Yeah.
And a phone call.
Yeah, it was like the monkeys living within it. It was 3 bedrooms, and it was Karen there with her boyfriend Paul. Right, he was an Irish guy. Me and Siobhan in the middle, and then Sarah and Terry was a great singer in a band called The Adventures. In the other room, right, it was honestly like the monkeys, man. Like I was actually hid in the room for 2 weeks because she didn't want me to meet the other girls. I mean, I was kind of locked at night, you know what I mean, in the room.
Before you go to tell this, sorry, I did read somewhere where you were all out at some gig or event or party or whatever, and somebody said to maybe Sarah or whoever, "Where's Siobhan's boyfriend?" And she went, "Incredibly, it's that guy over there."
Yeah, it's true. It wasn't a gig. It was they were playing netball against the Bell Stars.
All right, okay.
And they were getting covered by Record Mirror, right? And it was one of my first dates with Siobhan, right? You know, and I was sitting on a bench watching the thing, and I heard her on the court saying to the room, and I believe it or not, that's him over there. I'm like that, and you know, like.
Oh, fantastic! So sorry. Back to you. You're all living together, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, and it was just this was like they just did Robert De Niro's waiting, and she said like, "Oh, Robert De Niro's in town, and you know, we're going to try and meet up." But we were watching EastEnders in the house, and they had a payphone in the hallway, one of those big things where you put money. I don't want to tell you how tight those girls were, man, but it was beyond belief, man. Honestly, you having to put in, you know, 10p's and make the phone calls and all that kind of stuff, man. Right? So the phone goes, it's ringing for ages and ages. We watch the telly, and none of them are going to move, right? So I get up and pick up the phone, right, and it's on this big cord, and the guy goes, "Hello, I'm phoning on behalf of Robert De Niro. You know, can I talk to one of the girls?" I goes, "Fine." I goes, "No problem." He goes, "What's your name?" And he goes, "Robert De Niro." And I goes, "Very good." And I left the phone hanging down. I can even see it now bouncing up and down on the cord, man, right? And I go back in, and we're sitting, they didn't say a word, and we're sitting watching EastEnders, and then I think it's Sarah goes, "Who was that on the phone?" I goes, "It was some guy saying he's Robert De Niro." And he goes, "Very good, you know, right?" And I'm sitting there thinking, the phone's still dangling on the thing. I said, honestly, he did say that, you know, that he should go and get it. So Terry goes through, picks up the phone, and he goes, "Who is this?" You know, and he's in his Belfast accent and all that. And he comes back and he goes, "I think that actually is Robert De Niro."
So Robert De Niro was waiting.
He was waiting, you know. And then they come back in, and he goes, "They're sending a car to get us in 20 minutes. We better get ready, right?" So me and all of us get ready, right, you know. And we're on the 11th floor in Holborn, right, in this high-rise flat. And sure enough, there's a knock on the door. And we go to the door, and there's a guy there with the chauffeur's hat on. He goes, "Hi, I'm here to pick up Bananarama to take them to the Ritz," you know. And we all walk out, and the guy's like that, and the boys' faces. He goes, "No, it's just the girls." Me, Terry and Paul, what? And the girls didn't say a fucking word. See ya. Straight out the door. Imagine that be around. It was he said to them, you know, coming. We went round the pub, man.
I've stuck EastEnders back on or something.
No, we didn't. We went down to the Lamb down the Lamb Conduit Street, man. You know, they were great guys. Those guys, man. You know, they could tell you some stories, by the way.
I suppose so.
Maybe get them on.
Yeah, the Ritz was a good place. I like the Ritz.
So before we finish, so are you kind of still writing at the moment, or what's happening?
Never stops, do you?
Obviously, we're playing. We're still touring. We're doing a wee tour of Scotland. We're doing a lot of festivals next year, but we're doing the Barrowlands in for Celtic Connections on 1st of February, and for Celtic, and I'm looking forward to that, you know. And we start our new album in April, and then so it's all
You're getting on a festival with Texas and Simple Minds. Are you getting on that?
No, that's a tour they're doing, and they're doing big stadiums and all that. I mean, they're
I know, but
so they're like Celtic, and we're more like Rangers.
Listen,
I'll be doing well with that.
before we finish, I've got an apology to make, and thank you very much to the chap on Twitter that pointed this out last week. I unfairly and wrongly said you only scored 1 goal against Hornby
Thank
in
you.
the European Cup, and in fact you scored 2 because you got to the ball just before Billy
I
Starr.
did.
Aye.
Couldn't understand why they gave
Some of the papers
heads.
credited Billy Starr.
Didn't like me at the time, did the papers?
Aye. But anyway, I got that wrong.
It's not like papers to like me.
You scored 2 goals for Celtic.
Thank you.
There we go. And they were both better.
Thank you very much.
And probably see you again soon, because he doesn't know it yet, but Frank's taking his golfing at
Yes.
Glen Eagles or Mar Hall or whatever.
Brilliant. Go
I think he
ahead,
said it's Dundonald next, is it?
Right, Dundonald, we'll go to Dundonald.
Aye. Oh, good.
I'll get you a deal.
I'm not playing for ages yet. I'm not playing for a while anymore.
Well, listen, that's all we've got time for.
That's
Thanks very much.
No,
Just
thanks for
really
having me.
enjoyed it. Again, the time was flowing past.
Aye,
The stories are fantastic.
thank
Brilliant memories. And we will catch you all again very soon for another episode of Let Me Be Frank podcast.
Cheers.